For 20 years, Margaret and Thomas Whitaker's house stood silent, a picturesque two-story cottage nestled beneath the rolling oaks of rural Ohio. From the outside, it looked like a home full of life: white shutters, flower beds brimming with marigolds, a porch swing that gently creaked in the evening wind. But inside, the air often hung still, heavy with the echo of dreams never fulfilled. Margaret, once a vibrant schoolteacher, had spent years imagining the pitter-patter of little feet, bedtime stories, and birthday cakes. Thomas, a retired firefighter, dreamed of tossing a football in the yard, teaching a boy how to ride a bike or a girl how to fix a leaky faucet. But after a decade of fertility treatments, miscarriages, and quiet heartbreak, they stopped hoping and settled into a different rhythm of life, just the two of them, and the ache of what could have been. Each Christmas, they decorated the tree just for themselves. Each Thanksgiving, they laid out 2 plates, their prayers laced with silent sorrow. Still, they gave to others, volunteering at church, donating to local schools, mentoring youth, but their home remained a place untouched by children's laughter. Then came a rainy Tuesday that would shift everything. Margaret was loading groceries into her trunk when she noticed 3 kids huddled beneath the overhang outside the store. Soaked and shivering, they looked no older than 8, 10, and 12. She watched as the eldest tried to warm the younger 2 with his coat, patting their backs with a maturity no child should need. Something tugged at her heart, an instinct she hadn't felt in years. She approached gently. "Sweethearts, are you okay? Are you waiting for someone?" The oldest, a boy with dark curls and wary eyes, shook his head. "We're not waiting. We're just not sure where to go." Her heart clenched. "Where are your parents?" The boy swallowed hard. "Our mom passed 3 months ago. And we never knew our dad. We've been staying at shelters, but there wasn't room today. We just needed to stay dry." Margaret's breath caught. For a moment, the world paused. She knelt before them. "What are your names?" "I'm Mason," the boy said. "This is Ellie, and that's Jack." Ellie gave a small wave, clutching a worn stuffed bunny. Jack's eyes were red and tired. Later that evening, Margaret brought them home, just for one night, she told herself. Just until she could find someone to help. When Thomas opened the door and saw the children, his brow furrowed. But Margaret didn't need to explain. In her eyes, he saw the old yearning spark alive again. That night, the house changed. The silence was broken by soft giggles, running feet, spilled cocoa, and whispered goodnights. The next morning, Thomas made pancakes in the shape of stars. Jack sat on his lap as he read a comic book aloud. Ellie helped Margaret water the plants. And Mason asked if he could help with yard work. Anything to feel useful, to feel safe. One night turned into 2, then 3. Margaret contacted social services, only to find the system overloaded and stretched thin. The kids had no immediate relatives. There were whispers of separate foster placements, each child to a different home. "No," Thomas said firmly. "They've already lost enough. They stay together. If it means anything to you, we'll take them." The word surprised even him. He hadn't planned to say it. But it felt right. Margaret's eyes welled with tears. For the first time in years, she felt purpose throb in her chest. Love had returned, not in the way they once hoped, but in a way they never could have imagined. The process wasn't easy. Papers, court visits, background checks, inspections. And fears. Would the kids accept them? Would they be good enough? Would the ghosts of the past resurface? But as weeks turned into months, walls crumbled. Ellie began calling Margaret Mama during bedtime prayers. Jack insisted Thomas be his Gramps, and Mason, stoic, protective Mason, finally cried in Thomas's arms one night after a nightmare. "I was so scared we'd never belong to anyone," he whispered. "I didn't want them to take us away." Thomas's voice cracked. You belong here now. And no one's taking you away. The day the adoption papers were finalized, Margaret couldn't stop crying. Not out of sadness, but joy so raw it left her breathless. They weren't the traditional family she had once imagined. They weren't perfect. But they were whole. The neighbors watched in awe. You two could have had a quiet life, one said. Why start over now? Margaret smiled through tears. Because we waited 20 years for our children. And somehow, they found their way home. Life changed in beautiful, messy ways. Homework scattered across the dining table. Toothbrushes multiplied. Shoes piled by the door. Mason joined the school soccer team. Ellie wrote poems about her second chance mom. Jack built towers from cereal boxes. Every corner of the house pulsed with laughter, chaos, and love. One crisp autumn evening, as they sat around a backyard fire roasting marshmallows, Jack asked, "Did you guys miss having kids before you met us?" Margaret looked at Thomas, who nodded softly. "We did. A lot. But now," she added, her voice trembling, "we realize, we weren't missing kids. We were missing you." Mason leaned in closer, his teenage voice steady. "We didn't just get a house. We got a home. A real one." In that moment, under the soft hum of crickets and crackling fire, there were no more holes in their hearts, only gratitude for the unexpected road that led them to one another. Theirs was not a story of charity, nor pity. It was a story of second chances. Of lives intersecting in the most unlikely ways. Of wounds healing, love blooming, and hope refusing to die. For 20 years, Margaret and Thomas lived in a silent house filled with dreams deferred. But then 3 fatherless siblings knocked on the doors of their hearts, and suddenly, life began. And they realized, it's never too late to become a family.